The sea fog was thick as wet wool. Kate turned back towards the village with a sigh. As she climbed the dune, the marram grass sliced at her legs and the gathering bag on her back leaked cold and wet. She sniffed the damp air. The world was changing. It had rained all summer until the grain didn't even bother trying to grow or ripen, but just went straight to rotting in the field. And now the dark days had come again. It felt as if they'd only just left. There was whispering in the village. Is it true? Little huddles of villagers murmured, looking over their shoulders. The times have never been so cruel. Can you remember? Ever? Not ever. They say the sun is fading, dying. What have we done? What can we do? Kate flicked her wet hair away from her face. The world was changing all right, except it wasn't changing much for her. If she looked back or forward, all she could see was more of the same, working for the old woman, wanting to be away. She sighed again, and then she heard it, a high-pitched whistling that made her instantly crouch, her legs tensed under her and her heart beating hard in her throat. Where? It sounded as if something were dropping out of the sky. There, out in the bay. It hit the water hard. Kate strained her eyes, but the fog was as impenetrable as ever. She half uncurled, poised to run, but there was silence now over the bay. The tide was coming in as a greasy swell in the still air. There wasn't a breath of wind to stir the white mist. Sounds can travel strangely in fog. Maybe it was a seabird diving after fish. But she knew that wasn't right. No seabird would be out fishing in weather like this. She shivered, but she didn't leave. The fog condensed on her hair and trickled down her neck like cold fingers. I'll wait till the tide's at the turn. It wouldn't be long now, and if nothing happened by then, she'd run every step of the way back to the village and say she'd heard killer whales spouting in the bay. With a fog this thick, no one could prove she hadn't. She felt how her heartbeats had slowed again. Maybe it was stupid to stay, even until the turn, just asking for trouble. It wasn't as if the old woman needed an excuse to hit her, especially since... There, splashing, something out in the bay, beating at the water, flailing, coming closer to shore. Her senses focused in on the sound. It felt wrong. It didn't belong. She listened. Sniffed. She opened her mouth in case there was any tang in the air she could taste. There was something. It was odd. She didn't have any words for it. Kate froze. She could see it now, swirling the fog at the surface of the swell, dragging itself through the shallows, out onto the sand of the beach, and then it pulled off its face.